Yo, what up? This is Lores.
Black Bell, Peach Bananas, God Level. We're in Paris today, man. 129 H Studio. We came here today to do some sound design using COVID-19. This is today's instruments, a beautiful mask.
We also have some gloves, hand sanitizers. It's percussion, man. Wash your hands.
Hop, le travail est bien fait. Ouais, tiens.
T'es en train d'en mettre partout.
That's the strings of the mask, right? Pitched it down, 31 semitones. So first thing I added on the chain was a berserk. Just cranked up the drive, squashed. Ableton stock EQ, just a bunch of low hands. Then I added a smack attack. So just crank up the attack and turn down the sustain. Then I added an all bass, 32 hertz. Then I added a pool tech. Same thing, just cranked up the bass, 60 hertz. Then I added a Chips EQ, turned down some mid frequencies and turned down the high end. Then I added an Vox, compressed a little bit and played with the gate. I just froze the track, so I bounced the kick on this track right here. First thing is a smack attack, turned out a sustain, so I don't get like that nasty bleed. Then an REQ, you got a kick. The snare, first thing I added an Vox. Next up we got an Verb, just a gated reverb, like 5%. That one is interesting. So that's a multi-mod rack. We got an MDMX on the low end. We got an Abbey Road saturator on the mids and a reverb just on the high end. We added an H delay, just giving like a little slap. And that's it, like a very short feedback. Again, it just adds some depth. Then we added a Tor, just messing around with that knob and just give some extra flavor to the sounds.
We just did some hand rubs. We ended up chopping it. So the first thing we added on the shaker was King's microphone. The next thing we added on this sound was the de-esser. What you normally use a de-esser for is really to remove some frequencies from a sound, especially from vocals. In this case, we used it in a different way. If you check at the bottom of the plugin, you have a sidechain button. It allows you to listen to what you remove. In this case, we ended up using the plugin like this. So this is what it sounds like now. You really have something more in the high end. Without the sidechain, it sounds like this. When it plays, I will switch to the sidechain part and you will be able to hear the difference. One thing we really like to do is like sometimes to use the plugins and to use it in a way that other people don't use it. Like the de-esser, to use it with the sidechain. It can be really fun and creative. The hand rub was really to bring some more movement to the sound. We put the rate at 132. It goes really fast, but it adds even more rhythm. This is what it sounds like with it now. On top of that, we have the Mondo mode, just to add some more movement left and right, so it doesn't really stay static and in the middle of everything. So the next thing we used was the sanitizer, the bottle. By pressing the top of it, we were able to make some percussions. This one, pitched it up to semitones. And then again, we used the sidechain on the de-esser. As you can see, we have two tracks. On the first track, we only used the de-esser, and on the second track, we also used sound shifter. The reason why we used that was to make it a little bit lower. This is what it sounds like with it now. With everything else, it sounds like this now. Yeah, That's a nice bounce right there.
That's a nice bounce, man. That one is pretty cool. It's this. So I pitched it down. When you want to mess with a sound, just use Berserk. Crank up the input. This is what you got. So yeah, what makes that one interesting is I played with this one, the blend. I'm gonna play it without. And when you increase the blend, this was the first sound, Berserk. I froze the track, bounced it to another one, a H delay, some low pass filtering, lo-fi, and I just like play with the modulation. You turn down the modulation, lo-fi on. And on top of that, I just killed the right side.
Man, I need to start to use that plugin more.
All right, so we started from this. This is what we ended up with. When you're like stuck in a creative block or something, just record random sounds and just like mess with it.
What's good with Waves is like you can really make something new and something totally different using just a few plugins like the Berserk. Sometimes you might even find yourself stacking like 10 plugins on a sound. But at the end, like what really matters is the final result. So if you're happy with what you get at the end, it's like you don't really care, like do whatever comes to you. Even using plugins that are not designed for a specific thing might trigger some new ideas. You can follow us on Hits Bananas.
Stay safe.
Be safe. Stay home.
Peace.